Welcome back, Maniacs. Jamie here, and you're watching TrikBrix. Today, we're going to continue our comprehensive Adventurers retrospective series by taking a look at a pretty unique and fairly rare set, 5956 Expedition Balloon. Released in 1999, it contains 175 pieces, 4 minifigures, and retailed for $20 in the US. Here's a look at the instructions, featuring some very nice photography and artwork on the front, and on the back we'll find a few more shots from the official build and a couple alternatives. I'm not crazy about either of these, although I do think the giant bug is kind of funny. Once again, inside are a few more cool pictures of the set, which is nice to see, but we're not here to just look at pictures, so let's get to it. As you can see, we've got several things to look at here, but my guess is this bad boy is why you're watching this video, so let's go ahead and start with it. And I might as well not beat around the bush, this giant blimp piece is what makes the set. And it's also what drives the secondary market price up to an uncomfortable level, but we'll get back to that in a bit. I'm sure most of you already know this, but the balloon actually doubles as a storage container for all the parts when you're done having adventures or just want to transport the set without losing pieces. To access the inside, simply twist off the tail section and voila! I typically keep my sets built, but I can definitely see this coming in handy for someone putting it into storage. But being the most valuable part of the set, it's obviously prone to damage. The plastic is very thin, so dents are common, as are stress marks where the tail section screws on. You can see here what I'm talking about, with the threads clearly visible from the outside. And due to the way this set was packaged from the factory, with both ends of the blimp actually sticking out of the box, fully exposed to bumps and bruises, all of these problems could be present on a brand new set, so finding one of these in mint condition can be quite a challenge. Another thing you'll find on about 95% of used specimens are peeling or even non-existent stickers. Even freshly applied, these things didn't conform to the curves all that well, so with any amount of handling, they began coming back up, like you see here. And this example is actually better than most you'll see. In short, if you're looking to buy this set, make sure you find one with this in decent condition. Otherwise, a replacement can cost upwards of $50, and that's even without the decals, which isn't necessarily a deal breaker not to have, just up to your own personal preference. Personally, I do like the look of the shark design and the stabilizer decals, although I could probably take or leave the Big Adventurers logo on the side. Anyway, something's gotta hold this thing up, so we have this pretty nice cabin section. Plenty of room here for our adventurers to ride, and a few things for them to interact with as well. Up front, we've got a small adjustable windshield and a steering wheel for piloting this thing through the sky. There's also a chain here with an anchor for mooring, which can be moved around anywhere you'd like. In the middle, we'll find a small build for a microscope, a detail I find pretty awesome. It even has a 1x1 tile to represent a slide. More open space for minifigs as we work our way back, and then we've got another skull to be examined, this one under a cool glass cover. I'm not sure why there are so many human remains scattered around this jungle, but maybe a chew is trying to send someone a message. And then at the very rear, on both sides, we have a nice little engine build with spinning propeller. The whole thing is joined to the blimp via these Technic beams, and the way it's attached is pretty interesting, with these antenna pieces slid into 1x1 round bricks in 4 places. To make play a bit easier for kids, everything rides on these wheels. This is the only part of the design I don't really care for, but luckily, they're easily removed. I think doing so gives the whole thing a much cleaner, sleeker, more proper look. But that's all for this guy. Definitely a unique addition to the Adventurers line, and really the LEGO collection in general, since we've never gotten too many non-airplane or helicopter flying machines. Like so many of the jungle sets, we also have a little side build. Even though it's pretty simple, I actually like this one quite a bit. Topping it off is yet another skull, as well as one of these leafy plants. And below that, a large spiderweb hangs on these bar bricks, complete with its 8-legged host. Swinging this up reveals another of Achu's sun discs. Cool thing about this one though is that it's mounted on this little build that's able to slide out. It even has these handy handles on each side for your heroes to pick it up and carry it back to the blimp. But not if this guy has anything to say about it. Rudo Villano is here to complicate things for Johnny and the gang, and it looks like he means business. He's definitely my favorite of the two villains in this sub-theme, and here he gets a functional backpack, cutlass, and rifle. And it's no doubt that he's got one thing on his mind: get to the sun disk no matter what the cost. Luckily for the good guys, he's outnumbered here. Of course, Johnny Thunder is heading the expedition, complete with his trademark slouch hat and iconic tan shirt with printed revolver. And he's also got a rifle at his side. The brains of the operation, Dr. Lightning, is here with his trusty magnifying glass, ready to examine their findings and determine if they have in fact discovered the one true sun disk. And lastly, the one and only Harry Kane. And unfortunately, I mean lastly, quite literally here. This is the final set in the entire Adventures theme that will include him, and that makes me kinda sad. I'm not sure what happened on this particular expedition that would make it his last, but I always imagined that he went out in a blaze of glory, sacrificing himself for the lives of his friends. Of course, that's just my interpretation, and I have no idea why LEGO decided to nix such a great character for the remainder of the series. Luckily, since we still have the minifigure, we can make up our own future adventures that include him. But it's still a bittersweet goodbye for me, knowing this will probably be the final time I get to showcase him. So, farewell Harry Kane, you'll always be a favorite of mine. But before I say goodbye to you guys, I do have a few final thoughts on the set. Do I think this one is an awesome addition to the Adventurers collection? Absolutely. Do I think you should hop on eBay or Bricklink and pick one up for yourself? Well, that's where things get a little more complicated. I'll be completely honest with you guys, buying this set was painful. According to my own experience, the average cost of a used copy is about $150, which just seems crazy to me for what you get. And that's all thanks to this blimp container, which was never offered in any other set, and is prone to damage due to its thin plastic. Not to mention the decals refuse to stay conformed to the ridged surface. A sealed copy, and I use the term sealed loosely thanks to the way this set was packaged, can run well north of $300 on eBay. On top of all that, it can be difficult to track down at times. I ended up getting mine off Bricklink from a seller in Canada for about $120 shipped because I couldn't find any in the US that I was willing to pay for. If it was readily available for about a third or even half of the current going rate, I'd say it's a no-brainer because it's just such a cool concept. But in the end, I'm gonna have to leave this one up to you guys. It's definitely an awesome set, but is it worth the cost? Let me know what you think in the comments. But that's all I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this review, feel free to leave a like, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back soon with the next installment in the Adventurers Retrospective series, but until then, this has been Jamie for TrikBrix. As always, thanks for watching, take care, and play well!